Hello everyone, welcome to Studious IELTS. My name is Surinder Chaudhary and our today's lecture is about IELTS Writing Task 2. Okay, in this lecture, I'm going to discuss about all the marking criteria that are taken care of when your IELTS essay is evaluated by the examiner. And I will be explaining each and every criteria with certain examples that how can you implement these criteria very appropriately in your essay. And if you can follow these carefully when you're writing your essay, nobody can stop you to get 9 bands in your writing, right? Okay. So we are going to talk about all the criteria which are to be covered in your IELTS essay, and we will be discussing about band 9 only. We are not going to look below that, right? How can we get band 9 in our IELTS essay? All right. First of all, what those criteria are, let me tell you. IDP prescribes you the criterias, and they have an official document related to that with the whole description that for which band score, what they expect from your essay, right? And I'm going to attach that PDF in this video so that you can get to know about it in details as well. So you can download it at any time, and you will find it very relevant while writing your essays and even task one. All right. First of all, they ask you for task achievement, right? I'll explain that what task achievement means and how you can achieve that in this video. But let me tell you, its entire weightage in your score is 25%. These all criteria are divided equally in 25% weightage. And second one is coherence and cohesion. Right? That again I'll tell you, and it is also carrying 25% weightage of your scores. Then comes lexical resource, which is entirely related to vocabulary part, because vocabulary is also very important when you are attempting your IELTS writing. And finally, they also ask you for grammatical range and accuracy. It is divided into two parts. Grammatically, first, you're supposed to give a certain range of your sentences. Secondly, you are also needed to be very accurate when you're writing it. You shouldn't make grammatical errors in your writing. Okay, going ahead, we are first of all going to discuss what they ask you in task achievement. If we have to go for band 9, what they ask, this is from the official document of IDP. I'm going to talk about each and every aspect of it in details. First of all, they say that which writing will get 9. In that writing, the prompt is appropriately addressed. Prompt means the question they are asking. All the details of the question in the essay statement should be asked appropriately, right? Should be addressed appropriately, as well as it should be completely explored. It should be described in certain details, relevant details to be very precise, right? Then they will give you band 9 in task achievement. Okay, apart from that, they also expect you to give a clear and fully developed position. Means, what is your opinion? Your opinion should be completely elaborated there relevantly, right? And that opinion should directly answer the question, right? No doubt you are giving a great opinion, but at the same time, that opinion is expected to the point, right? Okay, going ahead, they also expect you that your essay should be very relevant. The ideas given the essay should be very relevant and fully extended, as well as well supported. Right? Supported means you are giving an idea, you are elaborating it nicely, and finally you are also giving certain examples to support the idea. Right? In that case, they will also give you 9. All right. Finally, in task achievement, they tell you that some of the lapses are excusable, but these should be very rare. And most importantly, these lapses should not at all impact the meaning of your answer. If that does, your score will come down. Otherwise, you are going to get band 9 in this. Okay, so now comes the time to understand what task achievement means, what task achievement is. So let's look at meaning first. Right? What does task achievement do in your essay? First of all, in your task achievement, you will get scores in your task achievement if your answer, if your essay is addressing the question properly. The first requirement of task achievement is to address your question. It shouldn't be wavered, right? Or no part of your question should be skipped in your answer. If that happens, again, the scores will come down. Okay, apart from that, they also expect you to stay on the topic. You cannot deviate from it. Whatever is asked in your answer, you are supposed to stick to that only. You cannot add on some unnecessary details or some unnecessary ideas which are not relevant to your question at all. Okay, going ahead, task achievement also expects you to develop your ideas completely. For example, you have addressed an idea, you have introduced it properly, but you are not concluding it good, right? If you are not doing that, your answer is incomplete, your idea is incomplete, and in that case your task hasn't been achieved in your answer. It will be achieved only when you are developing it completely, when you are starting it, developing it, and concluding it. Okay, your essay should also have a balanced presentation as well. Let me tell you, a number of essays ask you to present advantages and disadvantages of a certain development. What do you have to do? Uh, you will have to address the advantages, as well as you will have to give equal weightage to the disadvantages. No doubt, you will give your opinion that whether advantages are more or disadvantages are more. That stance can be given in introduction, that stance can be finally concluded as well, but you will have to give both aspects in your essay. Only then the presentation of your essay will be very balanced, means you are telling advantages as well as disadvantages in your answer. Okay, paragraph structures are really important, because if your paragraphs are drafted well, for example, you are giving a separate introduction, right? You are giving a summary of your idea, your opinion, as well as the question in your introduction. Then you are picking a couple of ideas that are to be elaborated in one paragraph. You are elaborating one idea very beautifully, right? Then you are taking another paragraph and another idea has been developed in that paragraph, and finally you are concluding it relevantly. In that case, your paragraph structures are going to give you good task achievement, and in that case you are going to get good scores as well. Okay, moving ahead, these two parts are absolutely necessary. Introduction is important, because in introduction you are telling the reader that what is there in the question, and you are also telling the reader that what is your opinion, what do you think about the question, right? And in conclusion, you are supposed to club everything that you have discussed in your whole essay. You are supposed to conclude it relevantly, that yes, it was a logical conversation, it was a logical communication in written form, and finally you are coming to this certain conclusion that this is something I have taken out of the whole discussion I have done in introduction, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2. Finally, it's important to conclude it as well. All right. This is absolutely necessary. Why do I say that? Because I have read a number of essays written by my students where they are able to develop their ideas so nicely, but sometimes their examples are not good at all. They are not able to relate their examples to their ideas. So, if this part is not connecting properly, that is going to create problems for you. So, whatever you are developing in your body paragraph, in your ideas, you are supposed to give the examples related to that idea only. Otherwise, it's going to harm your scores in task achievement. Remember this. All right, this is task achievement according to me. And I'm going to show you one paragraph, one introduction that I have drafted according to a certain question. And I will try to elaborate you how that introduction itself is achieving the task, right? There will be certain videos where I'll be elaborating entire essays, and in those essays I will also tell you that how have I achieved the task, in all the paragraphs in the entire essay. But here, for an example, I'm going to show you one introduction how it achieves the task in my essay. So, this is my question prompt. The question prompt says, some people feel that the legal age at which people can get married should be at least 21. So, this is my question prompt. Legal age should be 21 for those who are getting married. And this is an idea of a few people, right? So, how have I achieved my task in this? For that, this is also important to be read. This essay is about my agreement. What is my stance? What is my opinion on this statement? So, I will not only elaborate the prompt, I will not only address the prompt, but I will also give my logical opinion related to that question. Okay, this is my answer to this. This is an introduction only. So in this case, what have I done? In first sentence, I have paraphrased the entire statement of the essay question, I would say. As you can read, it is a prevalent view of a number of individuals that humans should be legally allowed to be wedded after reaching the age of 21. So in this sentence, what have I done? One thing, I have addressed everything that has been asked in my question, right? And second thing, I have not added anything irrelevant as well, right? So in that way, my first question itself is achieving my task. Okay, now comes to opinion, because task achievement also asks you to give your opinions, clear opinions, and developed opinions. Obviously, my development of opinions will be there in subsequent paragraphs of this essay, body paragraph 1, body paragraph 2, and finally it will be logically concluded as well. But in introduction, I have given my opinion in a certain way. And that says, I completely agree with the idea because marriage is a crucial bond between two persons which requires them to be utmost responsible towards numerous aspects of life. You can pause the video once, you can read it again, and you can associate it with all the requirements of task achievement by yourself as well, right? So, what have I done in this introduction? I have achieved my task by keeping my introduction completely related to my question, right? And in the entire essay, I have taken care of all the aspects, all the requirements of task achievement. All right, so that's all about task achievement in IELTS writing task 2. Moving ahead, the second requirement we were talking about, coherence and cohesion. And for band 9, what are we supposed to do in this segment? First of all, the official requirement of IDP in your essay is, in case of coherence and cohesion, that the message can be followed effortlessly. This is absolutely important to understand, that the easier you write, easier in the sense, you are not supposed to write very commonplace words, or you are not supposed to repeat the words. Easier in the sense which can be understood very clearly. You don't have to go for some fancy vocabulary, etc. You can simply write the things in a logical sequence where the reader can read it without any additional effort. If they can do so, obviously they will give you credit for that in form of your band score. Okay, then it says the cohesion is used in such a way that it very rarely attracts attention. It should be flawless. The uses of all the connectors, all the referring backwards, because cohesion is the referring back to something. For example, I have used word people in the beginning of my conversation, but later on I shouldn't be saying people, people, people again and again. I can address them as they, right? Or if I have to address them in other way, them, right? So every time I'm not supposed to use people. So if you are using certain cohesive ties in your essay, what you are supposed to do is make it so fluent, make it so flawless that it doesn't attract any attention of the reader. If it does, if the reader has to go back to understand the connection between the cohesive ties are very simple connections. For example, as I told you, if you are referring back to something, for example, people is the word I have mentioned in the beginning of my conversation, then I'm talking about them once again, and for that I'm addressing them as they. So this is a cohesive tie. So if that is not attracting any unnecessary attention from the reader, they will give you marks for that. So make them so flawless. Okay, another requirement of them is any lapses in coherence or cohesion are minimal. They are again saying even in band 9, some of the lapses may be ignored. But again, they shouldn't put any impact on the meaning of your answer. Okay, finally, they also say the paragraphing should be skillfully managed. Right? Even this is also a part of coherence and cohesion, because coherence is something that is, we will discuss in meaning as well, that is making your essay a complete unit. So if your paragraphs are connected to one another very carefully, your paragraphing will give you marks in this segment as well. Because your paragraph should be the logical sequence of one another. That's required. That's required to get good scores in your writing. All right. Now, what coherence means? We are going to talk about coherence and cohesion separately. And what coherence basically means, we will talk about meaning first. According to them, coherence is the logical sequence or the connection of ideas in your essay. When you are writing something, you are giving different ideas, multiple ideas. Some are related to one another, some are opposite to one another. But if you are presenting them, the sequence should be very carefully given. Your connector should be nicely paused, right? Your idea should be the logical outcome of the previous one, right? So in that way, your connectivity, your connection of the whole essay should be carefully managed. Okay, I have bifurcated coherence in a number of key factors. What those key factors are, I'm going to elaborate those with certain examples. So, first of all, we are going to talk about the key factor that is known as logical flow. I'm talking about the logical connection. So, obviously, the whole essay should be in a logical flow. There shouldn't be anything out of the place that has been written in your essay and that is not connected to your beginning, right? Because coherence means a beginning, a development of that beginning, and a conclusion of that beginning and development. If that connects well, your score will be high. Okay, how logical flow can be exemplified according to a sentence? Okay, read that sentence with me. It says, in terms of environmental protection, addressing deforestation is crucial. Not only does it contribute to the loss of biodiversity, but it also accelerates climate change due to the reduction in the number of trees absorbing carbon dioxide. So now look at this. This whole example says the beginning of idea is about deforestation, right? Because to address climate, environment, obviously deforestation is one of the key factors in that. And if that happens, what will subsequently happen? The whole statement is the direct outcome of this thing. So, in that way, whatever you are explaining should be the logical and relevant explanation of the thing you have introduced at the beginning. That is known as logical flow in your essay. Okay. Second key factor, if we talk about, is the smooth transitions. In any communication, transition is very important. In the sense, sometimes we shift from one idea to another idea, right? We have explained one idea very carefully. Now we are supposed to talk about another idea that is connected to it. Okay, that connection can be similar. For example, I'm talking about the disadvantages of deforestation, right? So in that case, if I have to give two ideas related to deforestation or two disadvantages related to deforestation, so these are similar ideas because these both are disadvantages. So if I'm moving from one disadvantage to second disadvantage, there should be a proper connection between these two ideas, and there should be a proper connector used between these two ideas. On the other hand, if I'm shifting from one idea to its opposite idea, even in that case, that transition should be very smooth. And the transition can happen smoothly only when I have relevant connectors to use in it. Okay, I have an example for that as well. It says the government has implemented policies to promote renewable energy sources. First idea. Then there is a connector related to the same idea. It says what else can be done. Furthermore, these initiatives not only reduce dependence on fossil fuels but also contribute to a cleaner and more sustainable environment. So, this is the transition happening from one idea to another idea, or in this case, this is a transition from something that is being done and further what its outcome may be. So, if you have relevant connectors in that case, it will give you good scores once again. And the third requirement of coherence is the consistency, or you are supposed to be consistent on topic. Your topic shouldn't lose anywhere in your discussion. If it does, you are going away from your uh, answer, right? Your question is not addressed properly, your question is not coherent properly, right? It's not logical. Okay, in this example, what they say, discussing the benefits of exercise is important for overall health. However, delving into the specifics of a balanced diet is equally crucial to achieve optimal well being. Now, what is the main topic of this whole discussion? Health. They are talking about health. So in first address, what they are saying about health, and in second sentence, they have something additional to add on, but again, that additional information is also related to your topic. Well-being. Obviously, synonyms are used, right? Firstly, they were talking about overall health. Now they are talking about overall health in different words by calling it optimal well-being, which is a very relevant synonym or replacement of overall health, right? So in that way, your consistency matters. If you are consistent to your topic throughout your essay, your scores in coherence will be up. Okay, now comes the second part of coherence and cohesion. And this second part is known as cohesion, and we will talk about its meaning first, what cohesion basically means. So they say cohesion is the grammatical and lexical means used to connect and bind ideas together. I gave you an example, people, they, them, right? Even in ideas, right? For example, previously I talked about health, optimal well being, and overall health. These are also connections, right? We are connecting them with one another. So, apart from being coherence in that case, even cohesion is exemplified in your previous sentence. We can go back to that once again in this case. So, overall health is mentioned once again as optimal well-being. So this is a cohesive tie. This is how we establish cohesion in our writing. So this is how it is connected in form of grammatical structure as well. In grammatical structures, as I told you, people may be addressed as they because this, a noun is being replaced by a pronoun. This is a grammatical function, right? But in previous example, a synonym is replacing another phrase. So in that case, that is lexical connection of different ideas, right? So this is how cohesion works, and in cohesion it is necessary to be very accurate. So let's understand it with some examples. So in first case, pronouns are the most important cohesive ties. Through pronouns, we are referring back to some key nouns in our conversation without repeating them in our conversation, right? Let's see how. This is an example. It says when individuals engage in regular exercise, individuals is the noun, they often experience improved mental health. Now, this is what we are supposed to talk about. Individuals are being addressed again in the conversation, but this time they are not saying individuals, or they are not replacing it with some synonym like people, right? They are just using some pronouns. And by using these pronouns, we are establishing a good cohesive tie. A good cohesion is there. But what mistake can we make? What we are supposed to be careful of? For example, if that would have been individual, right? If that would have been singular, and even then you would have said they, that is incorrect. That is how cohesion creates problem for you in your writing. If that is plural, the pronoun should subsequently be plural. Or if that is singular, then your pronoun should also be singular. So this connection is very important when you are using pronouns as cohesive ties, right? So again, it has been addressed as they once again, and even if they are showing possession, in that case, it's there. That should totally relate to this. Okay, moving ahead, another key factor of cohesion, that is conjunctions and linking words. Connectors, we also call them. They should also be very logical. Let me tell you one thing. For example, I am making a transition from one idea to another idea. My transition is from one idea to its opposite idea. What connector should I use? For example, if it is an opposite idea, but I am using moreover, furthermore, in that case, obviously it will be incorrect, because the nature of both the ideas is different, is opposite to one another, right? So in that case, I will be wrong. So what should I do? Whenever I'm using good conjunctions and connectors, they should be relevant to the nature of ideas. If those are similar ideas, I should use the connectors which are representing the connection of similar ideas. If those are opposite ideas, I should be using the logical connectors there. Okay, this is an example. Online education has become increasingly popular. Additionally, it offers flexibility for learners, allowing them to access course materials at their convenience. So, this is how we establish a good connection. What is our connector? Additionally. Now, additionally is that connector which is connecting two similar ideas with each other. So if that goes well, your cohesion goes well. Remember this. Okay, parallel structures. These are absolutely important when you are extending your sentence. Extension is something that we do to make our language more impressive. Let me show you that with an example. Okay, in this sentence, what do they say? To succeed in this competitive job market, candidates should possess not only relevant qualifications. Now, this sentence could have ended here. To succeed in this competitive job market, candidates should possess relevant qualification. But what have we created here? What is additional in this sentence? We have added some more phrases to extend this sentence. And these particular phrases are the parallel structures, the equal structures, which are correlating to the same verb. We are using only one verb here. But all these things, all these objects should be in similar way that it connects to the actual verb. Like, not only is of course to add more information, right? But also strong interpersonal skills. This is like this. These are the parallel structures, relevant qualifications, strong interpersonal skills, and the ability to adapt to new challenges. So all these three structures, whether it is relevant qualifications or strong interpersonal skills or the ability to adapt to new challenges, these are the parallel structures we have used in our writing. But Again, remember the nature of these structures should be quite similar to one another. If it differs, for example, if you are adding any verb to this last one, you are going to make it incorrect. Your cohesive ties will definitely be incorrect in this case, right? So that is how we establish cohesion in our writing essay. Okay. Well, third parameter. Third parameter is lexical resource, or we also call it vocabulary range and precision. Precision, I have added the word deliberately because sometimes students are very much confused between vocabulary range and what kind of range they are supposed to use, and eventually what do, they start cramming some fancy difficult words for you can say decorating their essays, but ultimately it's not necessary, it's not required at all. No parameter of your IELTS essay require you to use some such words which are very fancy, right, which are very difficult to understand, and eventually which are not in our control. The language we can speak, the language we can understand has some limits, and sometimes we cram a word which is absolutely difficult, but we are not able to fit that in right context. So even in that case, we lose our marks. So precision is absolutely important. Whatever word you are using in your vocabulary should be in your control. You should be able to make its uses in different contexts. Only then you will be able to get good scores in your lexical resource. Okay, first of all, let's see what they expect from us in 9 band. Okay, first of all, they expect us to have full flexibility and precise use, right? Whatever we are using in the name of vocabulary, we should have full flexibility over it, and we should have ability to use it very precisely and use it in different contexts with a certain control. If you don't have that control, you will not get scores, because let me tell you one thing, this is a white reality, that your examiners are not again amateurs. It's their job to evaluate essays every day, and by reading a single sentence of your essay they will get to know that whether this word is crammed or do you have complete control over this word. So don't ever try to befool your examiner. They will never be befooled, right? So remember, use only those words in which you are in control. Okay. 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 Another requirement. Let's talk about that. Let's say a wide range of vocabulary is used accurately and appropriately with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical features. Yes, they want a wide range of vocabulary, but it doesn't mean fancy vocabulary. Wide range of vocabulary means your words shouldn't be repeated. For example, we were talking about the word people. So for people, we may have the word uh, individuals, right? Humans. So in that way, you can replace those words according to your own convenience. But don't try to bring any such word which doesn't fit in the context. Even Google might tell that word a synonym of the other word. But does it really fit in that context where we are using it? If that doesn't, you are going to lose the control. The precision is going to end there, right? So, in that way, there should be a range, but apart from the range, you should have a complete control. You should know that how to use this word in different contexts. If I have to use it as a verb, if I have to use it as a noun, if I have to use it as an adjective, I should know each and every role of that word. If I don't, definitely I don't have control on it, and they will catch you in this. And if you don't be careful, they will deduct your marks. So, your range in vocabulary should be wide, but don't cram any such word which is going to impact your scores. Okay. Well, minor errors in spellings are forgiven, right? Even word formation can be ignored sometimes if there are some errors, but they should be extremely rare, right? It shouldn't happen at all. Just don't keep it in mind that we are going to make errors. Yes, excusable, I guess these are excusable, but you don't have to go with that. But most importantly, it shouldn't have any impact on the communication, it shouldn't have any impact on the meaning of your essay. If that does, this will be problem, right? Okay. Well, now let's understand what lexical resource means, what its meaning, or what are its key features that are to be taken care of in your IELTS writing. So, first of all, you should have a range of vocabulary. You should know a number of words which can replace other words in your essay, because with that you will be able to avoid the repetition. So, for example, let's take an example that in this we are talking about technology, but for that I have a number of words which can be used in your writing. For example, technological advancements have significantly enhanced interpersonal communication, enabling global connectivity. So, no doubt, when you are writing your essay, you might have simpler structures in your mind. But if you are giving an extension to that, for example, uh, if I have to use one thing, enhanced, significantly enhanced interpersonal communication. If I'm just saying communication alone, obviously it's going to be simpler. If I'm extending that with a certain adjective, that's going to be a little wider. It's going to bring a little variety in my communication. So if you do that, you will be able to give proper range of vocabulary in your essay. Okay. Now, yes, range is good. That's fine if you do that. But precision and accuracy are also important. Precision means you are having a great control on the uses of that word. Accuracy means your uses of that word is correct there. For example, you are not using any word which doesn't fit, right? Let's see an example. It says numerous individuals possess a fondness for exploring diverse destinations. Every word should make sense. Every word should be, it should be fit in the context. If it doesn't, definitely you are going to lose your marks. Okay, collocations are really important. I hope you understand what collocation stands for. Collocations are actually the words that are commonly used together. Sometimes a noun and an adjective, right? Sometimes an adverb and a verb, right? So these collocations will really, decorate your writing, your essays, if you are able to use those in great control. For example, it says he committed a substantial error in the course of the experiment. Now, what is collocation in this sentence? Substantial error. We could have written the sentence by saying he committed an error in the course of the experiment, but we used substantial error, an additional adjective, which is making it a collocation. And obviously, if you are using something with error word, definitely it should be substantial. Now, these are obviously occurring together. So if these are occurring together, do use that because it's going to give you additional scores. This is most common thing about IELTS writing. Repetition is, I won't say crime, but a blunder, right? So don't repeat the words. Rather, use maximum synonyms, and if you do that, definitely you are going to get good scores. So this is something. There is one example of not repeating something in this. The advent of technology has revolutionized various aspects of our lives, introducing transformative changes to our daily routines. In first part of sentence, they are saying our lives. In second part of sentence, they are saying our daily routines. So again, you should carefully change the form of your words. You should carefully change the nature of your sentence so that it shouldn't look like you are repeating something. If you are repeating something, you won't be interesting anymore, right? So in that way, avoiding repetition is absolutely necessary to get the marks in lexical resource. Yes, this is again very relevant. Technical vocabulary. Because you know there are many fields that are asked in IELTS essay. For example, technology, education, environment, right? So there are numerous, right? So if you have words related to that particular field, you will get additional scores for that. For example, this is all about environment, climate. So in this, I have used a number of words like climatic patterns, right? This is related to environment. Then mitigation strategies. Obviously, we are supposed to mitigate the pollution, right? So these are some of the words which are directly associated with the topic environment. If you can get that vocabulary in your bank, it can be nicely used and it can be a great help to get good scores. Okay, lastly, lexical cohesion. What it says, connectivity is absolutely important because sometimes these parameters are very much connected to one another, right? And in this case, if you are using good ties, good connections in form of your connectors, definitely you are going to get good scores in your writing. Okay, so that was all about lexical resource. And finally, we are going to talk about our fourth parameter, that is grammatical range and accuracy. And again, let's see what they expect you in band 9. First of all, they will want you to use a wide range of structures with full flexibility and control. There should be a wide range of sentences, different kinds of sentences that obviously we are going to discuss in our next slide, where we will discuss what grammatical range means, right? So if you do that, they will give you 9 bands. Further, punctuation and grammar are used appropriately throughout. No grammatical errors should be there, and punctuations should be rightly marked, appropriately marked. Because your comma should be on right place, your full stop should be on right place, your colons or semicolons should be on right place. If you don't do that, you are going to hamper the meaning of your conversation, and if that goes, your score will come down. Okay, even in this case, minor errors are extremely rare and have minimal impact on communication. Some errors might be excused. For example, you might have written one sentence in present instead of writing in past, but your whole context is overall making sense. They won't deduct your scores. But if it is happening in more than one cases or in consecutive cases, or if your grammar is not matching with one another, so in that case it might be a problem. All right, so what GRA stands for, what grammatical range and accuracy stands for, or what they obviously require from you. First of all, they require a range of grammar. In that range, what you are needed to give a number of different types of sentences. It should be a complete mixture of some simple sentences, complex sentences, right? Different uses of verbs, right? Conditional sentences, and obviously some connectors which are absolutely important to bring the variety in your writing. On Studious IELTS, you will also find videos related to different types of sentences where I will be covering simple sentences, complex sentences, compound sentences, conditional sentences, uses of modals, passive and active. You can watch these videos. You can easily understand how can you give a range of grammar in your IELTS essay. Okay, apart from that, they also need you to use accurate form of verbs. If you do that, you will get good scores. But sometimes I have seen that students mess up with tenses. For example, they are using an auxiliary from past continuous, but they are using the verb from present indefinite. If you do that, you are messing your writing. So for that, you should be very careful. You should be in complete control of understanding the use of verb in different tenses, in different situations. If you are able to do that, your grammatical accuracy will be on the point. Punctuation, very important. As I told you, your comma should be on the right place, your full stop should be on the right place, your colons, semicolons, everything should be on the place where they are required. You should have control on that as well. Yes, word order in the sense, when you are writing a sentence, you should know where the phrase should be, right? For example, sometimes if you are giving a time zone in the sentence, will that time zone be at the end of sentence, or should we start the sentence with the time zone? You should be careful that what makes sense better. Even I have seen some of the students messing up with the order of adjective and noun, adverb and verb, right? So even that order is sometimes jumbled. For example, as you know very clearly that if you are using an adjective with a noun, adjective will come first, then there will be noun. For example, a beautiful girl, you cannot say a girl beautiful, right? So your adjective should come first, then there should be noun. So that word order should be carefully arranged. Subject verb agreement, this is again one of the issues that I have seen students facing, that if your verb, for example, let me take an example of present indefinite, right? My subject of the sentence is third person singular, and as a necessity, if my subject of verb is third person singular, my verb will carry either s or es with it. I cannot use simply the first form of the verb, because subject demands an s or es with it, or it demands does, not do. So if that agreement goes well, your writing is good. Articles, the most used determiner in English language. Articles are very frequent. A and the, you know that very well, right? These are very frequent, mostly used ones, but sometimes I have seen people messing up with them as well. Sometimes articles are used where they are not required, and sometimes these are also used incorrectly. For example, a was required or an was required, but you are using the, or the was required, you are using a. So in that case, please be very, very careful about it. I will have lessons related to the uses of article as well on our YouTube channel. Okay, finally, prepositions and conjunctions are again important, because these are somehow the veins of language. If veins are not there, the blood will not flow. The connectivity of your different organs of your linguistic body will not function properly, right? So you should know the right uses of preposition, you should know the right uses of conjunction. If you do that, your grammar will be on the point and you will be able to score in this segment as well. All right. So that's all about the parameters which are used to evaluate IELTS essay, right? I have tried my best to explain them in details with certain examples, and I am hopeful that you are able to understand them separately. So next time when you are going to write your IELTS essay, I would really want you to consider all four of these parameters. Only then you will be able to meet the requirement of IDP in your essay. So that's it from my side. We will keep uploading the videos related to IELTS with the different modules, right? And I really request you or recommend you to stay connected with us. I want you to subscribe our channel, Studious IELTS, so that you can get timely updates related to IELTS and its new methods, how can we score good, etc. Thank you so much.